The trademark style of tactical RPG from Harebrained Studio schemes is easily described by the expression simple but tasteful. Take at least the updated Shadowrun series or the relatively recent Battletech games, with long familiar mechanics and without any revolutionary frills. But no matter what you pick up to them, you can't undermine them. Everything works just as you expect it to do. It seems that the new tactical game, the Lamplighters League, about a company of a scum opposing the word conspiracy, follows the proven formula. But having immersed into spy passion around ancient mysteries, a couple of months before the release, we found a couple of curious findings in it. At the most superficial glance, the Lamplighters League breaks out the string of XCOM clones, first of all due to its rather original settings. The game is set in an alternative version of the Great Depression, and the plot is imbued with the spirit of adventure with conspiracy theories, ancient mysteries, secret organizations, and touch of fantasy in the tradition of the famous franchise, about an inquisitive archaeologist with a whip. Even in the full title of the game, the Lamplighters League and the Tower of the End of the Earth, a certain civilization can be guessed. The tower is a mysterious reservoir of unprecedented power, which the adherents of the militaristic cult of the Discarded are trying to seize. Previously, their onslaught was held back in the Lamplighters League, made up of some of the greatest minds on Earth, but the time are not the same, and for the decisive battles, with the tyrannical sect in teams to save the planet, recruit anyone, thieves, murderers, and other hustlers from around the world. The player will control them, trying to overtake the cultists in solving the mystery of the tower. As the gameplay loop, the game follows a tradition of XCOMs as faithfully as possible. We have a hub in the form of headquarters, where we judge resources, pop up an adventure, and pick up the right key for them. There is a world map where, as a rule, we have to choose one of several missions at once, focusing on rewards, difficulty of execution, and our current capabilities. You can do everything at once. A missed mission disappears from the list of available ones, and it is desirable to alternate mercenaries led into battle in order to get balanced team for different cases. There is an inexorable timer and a mysterious enemy who rushed behind the frame to the same goal as us, so there is no time to lose. Well, and the usual tactic combat with action points, movement grid and point blank missions at the most important moment are also in place, but there is important nuance here. There is a feeling that contrary of the tradition of the game, in the Lamplighters League the authors made maximum bet on the accessibility of the game to everyone and everything. On the one hand, it does not allow you to roll back many of the decisions made, to save during the mission, and even permanent death of fighters is the place here, except that to lose any of the subordinates you will have to try hard, because each of them has 2 spare lives for the mission. It is enough only to bring their partner to them in time, as in the console cooperative shooter, that is, and without the impressive strips of XP, so participants can easily safely multiply in your mind by about 3. The fallen rises not with full health, but healers are scattered through the levels quite generously, and in advance you can buy them in the headquarters. Even when the game gives you out frankly odd tricks and without warning puts out hero in the midst of several enemies, the probability of getting game over and even losing someone from the agent remains quite small, at least on medium difficulty. Further, it turns out the tactical combat here is brought to the extreme minimalism, and it concerns both the interface, which is sharpened for cell phones and mechanics. Each character has 2 action points, a basic attack, 2 or 3 active skills, and a superpower ultra, which can be used only a couple of times per mission. In fact, the only unexpected feature is a Darkest Danger-like stress skill, which allows you to smash and one-shot especially armored opponents. At the same time, it's quite difficult to take wrong turn with pumpings, skilled with branchings, but experience points from missions are plentiful, and the player is immediately pushed to the right path. For example, Blonde gets Agent Erickson, who practices close combat, runs far and gains additional action point for each fragment, allowing you to make chains of kills and at least to infinity. You just need to weaken your enemies in advance, and for this purpose Severe is the best, capable of firing up to 8 shots from the pair of pistols in a single action and possessing a power AO attack. This is just an example of successful combination of 2 characters and skills, but it won't be a problem to find a similar combination. We can say that we offer a dozen of ways to break this game. All we have to do is to choose your favorite ones. As if that was enough, in the lead up to the fight we are also given the opportunity to train out enemy formulation in real-time stealth mode. Each of these heroes has traditional skills outside the combat. Someone can quietly sneak up to the enemy from behind and slaughter a killer. Some can throw booby traps, some can knock out 3 enemies with a single blow. But all these abilities have a limited number of users within a mission. In general, we sneak up to the most dangerous and inconveniently located enemies and eliminate them one by one, and then take an advantage position and enter to the battle. At least that's how it's apparently indeed. In practice, the most original mechanics of the Lamplighters League turn out to be the most problematic. The thing is that the stealth character's management, which is obviously customized for gamepads, is, to put it mildly, not the most convenient. The heroes stick to the shelters or ignore them altogether, and if the enemy suspects the presence of saboteurs, they will almost always find the illustration and indeed the battle of their own terms. At the same time, the emasculated interface does not help to understand how the local detection system works at all. Sometimes you can cross the enemy's field or view and kill him before the alarm is raised, and something you can't. And the Gur's field view themselves seems to be drawn a bit crooked. More than once or twice my charge were spotted hanging out a couple of meters away from the detection zone. The same goes for AoE skills. For example, when you choose the mentioned jerk, the interface may show you 3 enemies that you have to kill with one attack. But in reality, your griefer filled past 2 of them and instantly find himself surrounded. And didn't we mention that you can't save during the mission? In short, self-harrowing game with right risk, low reward and negligible fun due to the crookedness of execution. But this can, and ideally should, still be fixed before release. There are also a couple of controversial solutions, such as perks that fall out of heroes at random after each mission. Among them, they are both frankly useless and completely breaking the balance. Fortunately, any card can be reset and replaced with a more suitable one. And let's be honest, finding imba combinations that take our hordes of enemies in a couple clicks is no less fun than suffering and overcoming. Considering the abundance of evil random, this endless of developers even cause relief. At least no one will die from another miss at point blank range, most likely. What is really pleasing in this stage of development is that the Lamplighters League already feels like a large and complete game, which requires elaboration primarily in detail. Well, that's what the authors have to do more months to work on. So, bottom line is, in front of us we have rather access and simple in its mechanics, but nice AA tactic. On the one hand, it adopts the time-tested XCOM concept as closely as possible, and the other hand, it's not a stronger to innovation, combining turn-based battles with stealth diversion in real time. It's pity that this very element causes most complaints. Otherwise, the Lamplighters League may not claim to be a mastodon of the genre, but it will almost certainly be able to score a few evenings in the shuttle of fun of similar games. Thank you for watching.